And welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday. It's a beautiful day out there. I'm meteorologist Justin Storm alongside Ag Director Bridgette Readel and Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki. Well, not directly aside with, but they're somewhere in the void of confusion that's going on. Bridgette, Dean, can you hear me out in the middle of that field? Hello?
Bridgette, he showed up.
Well, I tell you what, the wind noise is a little high. And
Hey, where are you guys? All I see is a big field behind you guys.
well, that's actually where we are. We're in a big field. So,
Toggle her microphone up there, Dean. She's way too quiet.
okay, Dean.
Way too quiet. Can't even hear her.
Dean is my
That's all
sound
right.
engineer.
Oh, that's better. Bridgette,
He's-
talk.
He's fixing it.
There you go.
All right.
Still
so
too quiet.
We are in Baltic, South Dakota. This is the Hefty Seed Company Ag PhD Field Day. And we are literally in a field near Baltic. So there's a little bit of wind noise in the background, but it's a good thing because it's a busy, busy day and it keeps the wind keeps us all from being way too warm. So I'm liking how this is going.
Right. It's hey, at least the clouds and the fog they've been hanging tight, so it's been pretty tolerable. Justin would not have melted down here today.
We would have
like
kept
he
him
did
in the
last year.
We would have kept him in the shade. So
Yeah.
far, so good down here. But nice crowd, a lot of folks out moving around, and it's been a busy day so far. We've had quite a few activities going on.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, the presentation we gave about the LRC, in fact, just to let any of our listeners know that Gary is running a special during this event for the LRC, if anybody wants to sign up for that. So if anybody is interested in signing up for Gary's product, again, he's running that special just for today. Just shoot us a buzz. Shoot us an email, weather@flagfamily.com. We could pass along some more info. But we had a good turnout, Bridgette and I did, for our LRC explanation. And it's always nice to kind of educate the not only the ag community, but everybody.
Well, I think the thing that's sort of fun for everybody here is this show is really focused on training and education. People who are here to learn, to ask questions, to network. And so I think that's probably where their discussion about the LRC is the most important because they came to learn. And thankfully they've spent some time with us. But holy cow for vendors. There's people everywhere out here on this field.
Yeah, it's. Do you think it's as busy as it was last year?
Remember, I got trapped in Denver last year
You
due to
did.
United Airlines.
Yeah.
So
See, to me, it doesn't, which kind of surprised me because with as nice as the weather is, I thought it would be a lot busier.
we are on the absolute east end of this group.
We are, yeah.
And I've been over at the west end where they have farm equipment demos.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, if you want to go drive equipment, they're having a much better time over there.
You think they'd let me?
They'd actually let
F-
anybody here.
Wow. All right.
Justin, what's it like
they've
at home?
seen you in our videos.
So, what's it like at home?
It's not too bad out there. It's got a little bit of patchy haze around the area, but all in all, it's not too bad. It's 82 right now with gusts to 30 out of the southeast, so there's a nice wind across the valley to cool you down if a heat index of 84 is too hot for you. We'll warm up a little bit more to a high of about 87 this afternoon. It's going to remain windy. We'll see a little more of that surface level smoke starting to come into the area as we head through the afternoon and this evening. Now for tonight, not too bad. Southerly winds will keep us mild with low temperatures right around 70 degrees. Still going to get a few gusts at 25 throughout tonight, so a little breeze will do some help across the area. And we'll hang on to that wind as we head into the end of the week and the weekend, or at least the first half of it. South winds stick around 15 to 30 tomorrow. Highs low to mid 90s. Likely we'll see some heat advisories being issued as heat indexes across eastern North Dakota, portions of western Minnesota will be in the 90s to maybe even a little over 100 degrees. So it's going to be a warm one. And as we head into the upcoming weekend, we start to increase our chances for rain showers. That's not to say it's going to rain all weekend or anything is going to be a wash or plans are going to be canceled. And most of the showers will hold off until after dark, so that's the good news. But Friday night, we'll get a round of showers, a few storms, of which a couple could be on the strong to maybe severe side. I really think that threat's more towards the northern valley, northwestern Minnesota. We'll still see a potential, though, in the southern valley, but I think we'll just get stuck with general thunder showers, or at least a few of them overnight Friday. And for your Saturday, those exit our area through the morning, leaving the afternoon for the most part dry. We'll still watch for a few pop-up showers or storms late in the day. Highs upper 80s, low 90s, humid, breezy, gust of 20 out of the south, a little bit of smoke and haze, and kind of the same thing for your Sunday. A few storms overnight Saturday, then just the potential for a few scattered showers to develop throughout the late afternoon and evening. Highs on your Sunday are, again, in the upper 80s to near 90 degrees. So all in all, it's just hot and humid, and a chance for a few hit or miss pop-up storms late in the day, pretty similar to, I think, every weekend we've had so far this summer.
Seems like it. We haven't had a totally dry weekend.
Depends where you are. Some have not. So, yeah, right now, I think the fact that we had the morning without sunshine was actually a positive, because right now the sun is just starting to come out. It's burning off some of that haze, and it's going to get a little warm. But if the wind wasn't blowing, the amount of golf carts and side-by-sides racing back and forth here would probably be enough of a breeze to keep us going.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Right on.
No doubt.
Yeah, it's currently 79 in Baltic for you guys.
Unless I were to step outside from underneath this tent, then it feels like the surface of the sun in this humidity, is my guess.
Yeah, your dew point 71, so you're a bit more humid than us, but hey, our southerly winds will bring that humidity up here in the valley, so get used to it, or get ready for it, North Dakota. It's coming. Hey guys,
Yeah,
what's on the
that's
docket for the day? We got a jam-packed show. What's coming up next?
Well, if they show up.
Well, if you want to,
Well, maybe we won't have a
right now.
jam-packed show then.
Well, next segment we're supposed to have, let's see who we got. Matt Thompson from Hefty Naturals. And let's see, then who else do we have? Rob Dedman of Agritech. He's from Overland, Kansas. And to round out, let's see, we've got Jim Garvin from CH Bio. So we'll be talking about that. So we've got a lot of guests. Our first guest must have forgot about us, Bridgette.
Well, we're working on that right now. Sometimes people have really busy schedules here.
I know.
And so we might have some folks that are running a little bit behind. But we're working on that to try to get everybody in place.
And we'll keep the
Indeed.
ship
Hey,
up, right?
Huh?
I don't know. What did you say,
What'd you
Dean?
say?
I said we'll keep the ship upright.
Oh,
It
thank
won't
God you
sink.
said ship. Okay.
Yeah. Well, usually it's upright, so as long as it's not downward facing.
You know what? That and the stuff that's here for the ride and drive, for the demos, as long as that stays right side up, that's going to be a positive thing. And there's a lot of companies here that you don't normally see. If you wanted to talk about buying your own tile plow, if you are interested in the biologicals, if you want to visit with your favorite social media farmers, those folks are all here. So it's a good day to be out in the field.
Indeed it is.
I think
Hey,
so.
if anyone listening wants to be a part of the conversation, ask some questions, just say hi, feel free to do so. Give us a call on the Red Wing Shoe line. That's 701-293-9000. Or emails to the program. That's weather-or-ag@flagfamily.com. Comment boxes on Facebook and YouTube Live, where we live stream each and every single day. And you can also find us over there on Acres TV. That's Hefty Seed's streaming browser on any website. You can watch us through there as well. Let's see.
So I do have my regular ag headlines here, as we haven't had a chance to get one of our guests to join us quite yet. So first and foremost, this heat is certainly a concern to those who have a crop in the ground and they've been waiting for some rainfall to come, right? We anticipate that with all the subsoil moisture that we've got, particularly in this area, things are going to go really well. I just got done moderating a panel with some folks from Extreme Ag, and one of those farmers is from Virginia, and he said, their crop is pretty much burning up. They're talking 0 to 50 bushel on some of their dryland corn.
Oof.
And we don't have that. We are in much better shape. Now, when it comes to our livestock, like our cattle, this is the similar scenario to what we saw 2 years ago, where it got so humid and it got hot, and those animals, especially black-hided Angus or something of a crossbred mix, were struggling in the heat because, true or false, guys, do cows sweat?
Fake news.
I'm going to say no.
Cows do not sweat. And so for that, we have to make sure that folks realize that they've got to be pushing extra water on them. Sometimes you have to mist them. As I drove down into South Dakota earlier this week, you saw a number of sites where they had like giant patio umbrellas out in the field or out in the pasture, and those literally are there to provide shade for all of the cattle out in pasture. And the cows are smart. They'll stand in a nice dugout or a pond where it's cool, but then they'll head up the hill to fresh water when it's time to drink. So keep those cattle cool. Keep an eye on your horses, because we also know that horses this time of the year can run into some trouble as well. So there's not just about the humans. We got to keep our livestock in good shape as well.
Right. And currently, I'm just looking at some of the temperatures across the state. 106 out in the western part of North Dakota right now.
Wow, it's nothing.
Ouch.
Where is it 106?
Oh.
Don't make this stuff up on me.
Let's
Dan.
pull it up. Let's see. Pyramid Park.
That doesn't exist.
Where's that?
107 in Fayette.
You're making
Fayette?
that up.
Those are not North Dakota towns.
Yeah, it is. It's right here.
Figure it out, Dan. Lock it up.
Yeah, right here.
At the most.
Manning, 100.
Manning would be
106.
Whew, that would be north of Dickinson. Those other ones used to be a town or a township.
Poker Jim, 107.
Poker Jim's running a temperature. He should have that checked.
He's on fire.
Hey, guys, don't worry. It's a dry heat.
Well, actually, the dew points are only in about the low to mid 60s out there, so it's a little touchy.
So it is a dry heat.
Yeah.
All right,
They're
folks.
fine.
We are indeed, guests are about to start arriving. So let us catch up with our ABC News, and then we have an opportunity to bring those folks forward. Excuse me, wait, not ABC. This is a time where we have our farm news update.
Ag Network.
Thank you. Once we do that, we will get back in touch with
Lock it up, Bridgette. Come
our
on.
guests. Look, I'm doing 40 things over here. Get off my back. I can't carry you too.
Oh, woo, rib shot.
Okay. All right. We will be right back after the news. Stick with us. Welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thank you for joining us. And today, us is Dean and I live at the Hefty Seed Company's Ag PhD Field Day, Baltic, South Dakota. We have the opportunity to be joined by one of our guests today. That is Doug Phelps. Doug, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate your ability to be flexible and help us today.
Yes.
You are with SIPCAM Agro.
Yes.
What's SIPCAM?
SIPCAM Agro is a Italian-owned company. We are mainly a post-patent generic crop protection company, but we also have a full line of value-added biostimulant, biorational products that have been developed for over the years. And my role with the company, starting 5 years ago, was to bring that portfolio from Europe over here to the U.S. and get it integrated into the U.S. ag system.
Okay, hold on. You use all sorts of biostimulants. The bio term came out pretty frequently.
Yes.
That's a real uptick in use across the industry.
Yeah, I've been in the, we'll call it the biosolutions industry for well over 20 years. When we first introduced these products and started bringing them to market, there wasn't a lot of science and theory behind it.
Sure.
It was, hey, we've got these products, we put them to a crop and it works. What has happened over the past 20 years is, number one, the universities and industry has started to quit the snake oil image and start looking into, okay, what are these doing? A lot of the manufacturers like us, rather than saying use this product and this is, you'll get a yield increase, we're really starting to hone in on what the mode of action is, what the benefits, where the synergies are, and bring in science to back up a lot of the claims, that people were making back in the day. Another component to that is that, the reason the biosolutions category in some instances has kind of that snake oil image is because doesn't take a lot to go find some microbes or go, a bathtub and paddle. You can make some products and just go make outlandish claims. So go convince a farmer to put it on his field.
It's the bathtub gym of biologicals? Bathtub gin.
Pretty much. It can be.
Okay.
And so it's companies like SIPCAM that are doing the science. We're discovering the products. We're doing the research, not just to say, does it do something, but where's the best use of it? What rates? What timing? So that when we come and bring it to the end user, we're not using them as the guinea pigs to help us try to figure our product out.
And Doug, Bridgette says you're an expert on humic substances, right?
Yes. Yep.
And what in the world is that?
Well, yes, that's a good question.
So when we talk about humic substances, in a nutshell, it is the horsepower in organic matter. All right? And in these humic substances, which is the soluble, most active component of organic matter, that's what Mother Nature created to complex nutrients, stimulate roots, energize the microbes.
Okay.
But as farming has progressed and more chemicals have come in, we're trying to push 300 bushels. We're
right.
not disking our crop residues in. We are doing so much to extract out of the soil yield. We're not able to replace that organic matter like we have in the past. There's some weather patterns changing. We're getting drier conditions. And so what we're able to do is take that horsepower of organic matter, and it's a product called Leonardite, which is a oxidized coal from the prehistoric era, and we can solubilize the humic substances into a liquid or a dry. And then rather than the philosophy of trying to change the entire acre foot of soil, we're implementing the strategy of let's place that horsepower where we can get the best use of it. In furrow, foliar application with fertilizer. So we're being smarter with the application, targeting it where we can get a synergy with nutrients, with whatever, and extracting the value out of those applications. And a company like SIPCAM, our focus is making an affordable application so that farmers aren't breaking their budget trying to use one application of a product that's going to magically change all of the limiting factors that they've piled up over the years.
Right.
This is probably a little off track of the questions we had outlined, but I just thought of it as we were visiting. When you say determining if that's in furrow, foliar, etc., how do you make that determination?
Generally, it depends. There's only so many trips across the field.
Yes.
And so if I'm doing if I'm trying to use a product that is not compatible with something,
Yep.
then I don't want to cause a problem across that trip. So then we say, all right, can I put it in the next trip across the field,
Okay.
or where is
Okay.
the best use? There are some people that don't do in furrow, so therefore we're limited on an application, in that application target.
Okay.
Sweet. Okay, that helps tremendously. Then the last question we wanted to make sure is to talk about is we have a project where we're custom farming 20 acres of corn as the Weather and Ag and Focus team.
Yep.
We've got it planted. Our corn is about a 92-day corn.
Okay.
It's looking really good. People ask me, well, how big is it? Well, let's put it this way. It's taller than I am. So really, Doug, it doesn't matter after that. If we were to plan ahead for next year, would using something as a humic substance be the right choice for us to advance our yield?
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, let's go back to that in furrow or at planting application. There are limiting factors in your soil. You may have been doing everything right and amending the soil, and you got the soil and everything in balance, but there's always going to be some component of a limiting factor that is aware. So by putting these humic substances, whether it be a humic acid or a fulvic acid, in furrow with that fertilizer, what you're doing is improving the efficiency of that applied fertilizer, stimulating that plant to get off to a good start. That's phase one. Then the next phase is, because a biostimulant effect will be somewhere in that 14 to 21 day window. Then you come back in, say at your post application. That's where we can get another dose of biostimulant on that acre. Then you come back in at a side dress, and so it's that insurance policy against that abiotic stress and limiting factors at an affordable price that ends up with a nice ROI. And at the same time, if you are in that perfect growing condition where you've got everything ideal, you didn't spend $100 on a product that was supposed to double your yield, right? And that goes back to that premise of it's an insurance policy.
Sure.
If there is a problem, I'm glad I had that in the soil. If it's not, if there are no problems, I didn't bust the budget trying to use this thing.
Doug, this is why you were given to us as the expert in this field.
It's a lot of it's 20 years of a lot of figuring things out, and it's a learning opportunity all along the way.
Of that, I have no doubt. Thank you for joining us, folks.
Very welcome.
We're gonna time in some breaks here a little bit differently today as we get our guests to swap seats. It's like having a hot buddy seat right next to me in a tractor, and I just keep moving people through. So, Doug, than's for taking the time to stop today. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Doug.
Thank you. Folks, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. We'll keep bringing guests on for you today from the Hefty's Seed Company Ag PhD Day. Welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thank you for joining us today. We are live from Hefty Seed Company's Ag PhD Day in Baltic, South Dakota. Also, do not forget, next Wednesday, Red River Retention Authority is having their partner summit on July 31st in East Grand Forks. They are one of our Here We Grow sponsors. Please join them and other flood organizations to discuss water retention, flood mitigation, and have their featured speaker, Minnesota Congressman Colin Peterson. But the excitement of our segment right now is having Matt Thompson from Hefty Naturals. Matt and I have had an opportunity to visit to line up guests for today. And Matt, first and foremost, I had someone ask me, what is Hefty Naturals? Because this just didn't come across as a top of mind, I guess you could say that.
Yeah, so Bridgette, thanks for having me on. It's always fun to talk to our North Dakota audience down here at our beautiful Ag PhD Field Day. Sun has finally come out. Man, has it turned into a gorgeous day. Hefty Naturals, what is it? Well, for us, it's categorizing all the biologicals in the market. So it could be a living organism, it could be an organic acid, it could be a plant growth hormone, could be an amino acid. It's all the different companies that provide products into the market that are really value added. And for us within the Naturals portfolio, this gives us the ability to really focus attention onto it, do the research, do the background on the products to actually make sure that they work in our region.
And Matt, do you have any new products coming along in your portfolio?
You know, we have about 25 products in our portfolio. We tend to roll a couple products in and out every year. Realistically, for the 2025 season, we're looking at maybe bringing a couple more plant growth hormones in, but I really feel good about our portfolio. We think we've got some great products. We're on almost 9 million acres as a company for the Hefty Naturals brand, so that's really exciting. And we've got all of our supporters here today with the Hefty Naturals tent right next door. And it's just fun to get all of our experts together. You get to see them mingling with our other suppliers. And this is where a lot of decisions get made and a lot of new product ideas come out, is just for something like this today.
Okay, hold on. I want to go back to that 9 million acres that you said. Are we talking across all crops? Are we talking 9 million in one particular crop system?
Yeah, so that's going to be just for the Hefty Seed organization, and that's going to be across all crops for us. So we've got roughly 50 locations in 10 states, obviously dominated by South Dakota, Minnesota, and North Dakota, I-29 corridor. But we've got locations all the way out to Washington and all the way down to the Boot Heel of Missouri.
And as far east as?
Illinois, and now one in Pennsylvania.
Very nice.
Wow, yeah.
There's great expansion going on there.
Yep.
Okay, so when we look at Hefty Naturals, what do you think is the adaptation rate that farmers are taking when it comes to biologicals? You know, as you look up and down the strip, so to speak, here of all of the folks walking around and your vendors, there's a fair number of biological companies. What's the interest in them from folks?
It's interesting. You know, you look at it from a standpoint that for a basic manufacturer, a multinational company to bring a new product forward, you're talking 10 years of investment, $500 to $700 million of capital to get the approvals from the EPA.
Okay.
From a biological standpoint, depending on how the product is registered, realistically, you could go to the state level and have something registered in as short as 18 months. Whew. So the speed in which these products are coming to market is incredibly fast. It's good and bad. The bad side is some companies use their grower customer base to be the research and development department. And that's where we see a lot of the inconsistencies and the fateful word snake oil in the market, because so many growers have had bad experiences with fly-by-night companies. So that was really the focus for us when I took things over in 2019, was to build more validity into this brand. We spend a tremendous amount of money on research, both internally and externally, to validate the products that we're working with. And as we continue to look at our business building, we wouldn't be able to build if we didn't have customers retained on a year-to-year basis.
Absolutely, that's true. Speaking of those customers on a year-to-year basis, do you ever see any stats on how many return customers you have that come in for this show specifically, or is it more of a, we just know there's a lot of people here?
That's a question for somebody way above my pay grade. I'm sure it's something we track. It's interesting that, you know, we always get worried about the weather. We always worry about what's the crowd anticipation going to be. I think the local crowd definitely drives our number, but you have people that are going to come to this show no matter what.
That's right.
I mean, you could have a 5-inch rainstorm, and our folks from Pennsylvania or the growers I talked to this morning from Georgia or North Carolina, they make a trip out of this no matter what. So that's what's really exciting for me. realistically, this is the highlight, kind of the highlight of the year for folks like us. We're always in the field. We're always talking to our local customer base. But to talk to guys from Colorado or Pennsylvania or areas that we don't have a lot of focus on, it's a lot of fun to see those folks traveling here.
It's a lot of fun just to look at all the cars in the parking lot with those license plates.
That's right.
A lot of Nebraska peeps here today,
There.
too.
You feeling good about that, Dean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Matt, thank you for taking the time to just stop and visit with us. I know you have another stop.
Yeah.
Where are you headed to next?
In the Hefty Naturals tent, so if folks have never been to the Ag PhD Field Day before, in the afternoons, we have multiple speaking tents and we have multiple grower panels. Just 15 minutes ago, we had Caleb Trowell on, who is the crop consultant for the world record soybean holder, Alex Harold from southern Georgia, come up. And now we're getting ready to talk about nitrogen management with some natural products with some of our suppliers. So this is really, in my mind, a learning experience for growers. If you want to learn something, you can absolutely kick the tires on some of the newest equipment here. And boy, do we have a lot of equipment this year.
It's so much fun to look at.
But if you want to learn something, I don't know of another show that you're going to get the information you get here.
And the hands-on approach.
That's right.
All right. Matt, thank you so very kindly.
Thank you, guys. I love that you guys are here. It's awesome that we get to do these types of radio interviews and just expose more people to what we're trying to do here at Ag PhD.
And your Acres TV platform, because we're going to be live streaming all
Yes,
of this chaos
Acres TV.
on Acres TV.
That's been huge. It's been a great platform for us, and I'm super happy for that team and what that launch has been.
This is looking good today. So thank you. Good
Okay.
luck on your
guys,
next
thank you
session.
very much. I appreciate it.
All right, folks, don't go anywhere. We will come back. We've got yet more guests, so stick with us from Hefty Seeds Ag PhD Field Day 2024. Oh, welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. This is such a good day because we're literally in the field, and it's not even our cornfield. It's a real field in South Dakota with more equipment on it than most dealerships would ever surmise that they'd have on hand. And we are at at Hefty Seed Company's Ag PhD Field Day, and today we get joined by Chad Wissel. He is with CH Bio. Chad, what's CH Bio?
We are a research and development company that's based out of Taiwan, and we sell raw materials to the marketplace. We also have finished products that we produce in Southern California and offer to distributors like Hefty's and other distributors across country.
Okay, I'm going to slip in a quick question here that just came to mind. How much trouble did you have when you're based out of country, you just have finishing in California? What was supply and situation like for you in the last few years with the pandemic?
Oh, well, it definitely got tight when we were waiting on containers to come across the sea and get into port. But we was able to, plan ahead and had plenty of reserves on stock, so we was able to battle through those tough times.
Very nice.
And what about plant growth regulators? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, that's our area of expertise, and it's probably one of the fastest growing sectors in the ag industry today. which you couldn't have said 20 years ago because they were known as what is this stuff.
That's true.
But plant growth regulators are really important for different stages of the crop that require different plant hormones. And so we specialize in hormones that are specifically designed for early vegetative growth. And then when we get into reproductive growth, we'd switch gears into hormones that really drive that reproductive development. There's also another category that you can focus on that really focus on a plant defense system, like systemic required resistance against environmental stresses. So really three different categories of plant growth hormones.
Is this popular in like fruit crops, or is there any specific crop this is targeted for?
Yeah, 20 years ago, it was big in table grapes or strawberries or produce crops or, basically anything that was going on somebody's table as a fruit or a vegetable. So it took a little time for it to grab onto the row crop world, but in the last 20 years we went from 0 acres to probably 35 million acres across the corn soybean belt. So.
Oh yeah, it's made a big difference. Weather is probably one of the things that Dean wants to talk about the most, maybe more so than I do, I guess. But I just worry about what it's going to do today. When you're using a PGR, how does weather influence that, if at all?
Well, it can have a positive effect against different environmental stresses as long as you've had it in the crop and applied prior to a stressful event. Once stress sets in, it's kind of hard to rescue with a PGR.
That's a good point.
But if you plan ahead and you're putting the right hormones on at the right time, and then that stressful event comes, the plant can tolerate those stresses a lot more efficiently.
And that's what we're looking for, is to take that stress, mitigate that off the plant in order to take ourselves to a bigger, better yield whenever possible. That's fair.
Yep.
Okay, so auxins. When I think about auxins, my past life, if you will, I was working for crop protection. Auxins, to me, I'm thinking about 2,4-Ds, MCPs. I don't think that's what you're talking about, though.
Yeah. Well, those types of things like 2,4-D, they can have a positive effect on the plant in the right formulation, but it takes a really, really low parts per million, and it's really hard to control. So we use auxins that are easier to control.
Okay.
Things like IBA, to where you have a lot different tolerance in parts per million to have that positive effect, and you don't have to worry about going past that parts per million and causing that negative effect like you will with the 2,4-D. So, if you went overboard and applied at 100 times the rate, yeah, you could have that killing effect. But in the right parts per million, you can have a really positive effect on a crop.
Imagine that, parts per million. And when you think about it, what an impact that makes on what we're doing.
Yeah, 20 years ago, it was hard for people to understand how you could take 2 ounces of a product and increase the yield 400 pounds on an acre.
That's incredible.
This just doesn't equate when you're thinking about fertilizer. But with plant growth regulators, we're not trying to feed the plant anything. We're just trying to send it a signal to do what it needs to do to function more efficiently at whatever growth stage it's in.
Okay. Well, and when you say that about the 2 ounces, I just want to reiterate, because we do have, a portion of our listening audience that is not necessarily farm related. And when we talk about 2 ounces, okay, so we're all holding water bottles here. I don't even know how many ounces those are, but it would be such a minute amount of that water bottle that we're going to dilute in probably 10 gallons of water, so 2 5-gallon buckets, and we're going to spread it across an acre, which is a football field. And yet, it makes that type of an impact on the crop that we're raising.
Exactly. Yep. When you're talking about dry fertilizer, you're talking about putting tons on per acre versus these things where you're just putting ounces on per acre and can have that positive effect.
Well, and I like that. And I also know that as a consumer, they feel, the plant growth regulators feel a little more fun, healthy, natural than a lot of the other inputs that we might be doing on the crop. Yeah,
the ones we mentioned today, the auxins, the cytokinins, these are all hormones that are nature.
Absolutely.
They're produced in nature. So we're not making anything that's harmful to the environment. We are basically taking products that exist in the environment and triggering these plants to have a more positive response without polluting anything out in the field.
Okay. I think that's an excellent point. So for folks that have been listening and they're curious about your product lineup and those types of things, Chad, where should they go?
Okay. Well, Hefty's, you talking about suppliers?
Well, yeah, suppliers and how you want them to be, how you want your product to be found.
Well, since we're at the Hefty Field Day, we'll talk about Hefty. I mean, they take several of our products and they put it in their Hefty Naturals line. So they have a group of about 20 products, and we happen to be lucky enough to be about 5 of their products in their Hefty Naturals line. So, and it's a range of products that, like I said earlier, you have a specific product designed for that early vegetative growth. Then when you switch into reproductive growth, then you switch into another plant growth regulator product. And then if you ever want to protect against some systemic required resistance type environmental stress protection, they have that can be applied any time of the year.
Fantastic. Thank you for joining us, Chad. We appreciate it. You're right next door in the Hefty Naturals tent.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay.
Thanks,
you, Chad.
Yep.
It has been the round robin of guests. We got one
Who's
more
next?
to go.
Who's
right?
next?
So the hot buddy seat next to me is swapping out for one more person, and
All right.
we're also going to touch on the weather. So let's.
If we have time.
I bet we will.
Man.
I bet we'll be able to take care of that in the next segment. But you should hold on tight and fast. It's going to be as quick as the wind is blowing around.
I'm hanging.
All right. We will be right back, folks. Stick with us for one more round of guests. Folks, we are back for our rapid fire round on guests here at Hefty Seed Company's Ag PhD Field Day in Baltic, South Dakota. But this is called Weather and Ag in Focus. Gentlemen, what's the weather look like?
Hot. Hot.
Well, here.
Hot and humid. Back at home, hot and humid. It's not much different than here. And windy. Windy, hot, humid. It's slight chance of storms over the weekend. That's it in a nutshell.
You've been saying the same thing for 2 weeks.
2? It's been more than that.
Okay, close enough.
Oof. Every weekend. We just can't get a dry weekend.
Well, that's true. And unless you were really worried, it's great for your garden. It's been somewhat helpful for some of our fields. Well, that's really just depends on where you're at. I'm personally speaking right now, I know I'd take a half inch of rain, and I think, Justin, you would like 2 inches at this point, wouldn't you?
I'd take another inch of rain any day.
I'll see what I can do to drum that up for you.
I'd take a couple inches over a week, in fact.
Even better. Okay, as we have been just going through the rapid fire round of guests today, we are lucky enough to be sitting next to the Hefty Naturals booth, and so a lot of these folks have been here as part of Hefty Naturals. I'd like to introduce Vince Workman. Vince is with Meristem.
Correct.
Okay, so as I've done to everybody else, what's Meristem? Company history time. I know you've got this.
Meristem is an emerging company in the agricultural space, providing unique solutions such as our biocapsule technology. So we're really looking to take cost out of farming, more bushels for less.
Yay!
Yes.
That's
So,
what everybody's here for.
yes.
Because if they weren't here to make a profit, that's called volunteerism, and that's not really what you wanted.
No.
Meristem. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask Vince, what's the number one product that you're having the most success with right now?
Well, that'd be our biocapsule technology with the microbes. For the planter box system, really been able to revolutionize the way we're delivering microbes on farm. The technology in the past has really been unreliable from a standpoint of we don't know if the product's alive or dead. So now we have technology that has really been able to take our microbes and deliver them to the farm and keep them viable. We have greater fitness, less fatigue, and they can work a lot better for the crop.
Okay, so when we talk about this delivery system, and I see it says biocapsule technology on one of them, for those who are maybe not as in tune with what's happening, you're making sure that what you are delivering to the ground is still alive,
Correct.
viable,
Correct.
and it is what you say it is, which
Yes.
is probably the best guarantee you can give a
Yeah.
farmer or anybody else.
We're really reducing fitness, increasing, we're trying to make sure the product is alive. And that's been, a lot of these biological products in the past, even 20 years ago, they were proven in research, they were proven in small plots, and they were pushed out to the farm, and they failed fantastically with being really unreliable because they're probably dead.
That's very true. You mentioned planter box treatment. What does that mean?
That means on the farm at the day of plant.
Okay.
So we're able to deliver the products fresh the day of planting. So we're piggybacking that on with the lubricant technology that most farmers use, the talc and graphite 80-20 blend.
Yep.
We're enhancing that with nutrition. We're enhancing that with enzymes as well as biology.
Okay. When you talk about the biology, the products that are being delivered are live. So weather matters for storageability.
Correct.
Okay, so hot days like this, we don't want it sitting out on a planter. I don't want to say a spray trailer because that's not really quite the right place.
Yeah,
but
we wouldn't want it in the cab of the pickup.
right, where it's hot and
Yeah.
stuff gets hot and melts. I mean,
Yeah, I always tell guys, think about these products as you would like if you were having a quart of milk. You wouldn't want that in your,
Oh, yeah.
in the pickup for a couple of days and have that for lunch.
gosh, you just reminded me. Someone, I had a social media meetup last night, and some very, very kind social media friend gave me like a brownie, and it's in my pickup right now, and I suppose it's probably not the same as it was last night.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so you've got a sheet here with Max NS corn. What is it? Why are you answering questions for customers about it today?
Max NS corn is really a combination of products. We've got our talc graphite, we've got our micronutrients, we have the heat shield technology, we have the NutriCycle technology, the nutrient solubilizers, all combined in one easy-to-use product. So, in the past we'd have to have a combination of at least 6 to 8 different things that have to be blended together and put on the farm.
Sure.
This is basically all together in one bucket. When it's time to go, you pull the grenade pin, punch it down, put it on the seed.
Dean heard all these terms and he's like, I pull the pin. It's like a grenade. What do I got to do? How do I get this going? I like the analogy.
Yeah.
That's excellent. And where do you think your biggest receptivity is? Is that in a geographical region? Is it a particular crop that folks want to talk to you most?
Well, I think, corn especially, we have our challenges, and we know that we can enhance improvement with biology, with nutrition. Everyone is using a lubricant with their planters, so it really makes sense to keep stuff fresh, and then, basically the pail becomes their seed treater for their corn to apply these products.
Oh,
we
I
have
like that.
Fresh product going on with something they're already using.
I like that. The pail becomes the seed treater for that. Excellent analogy on there. So thank you so much, Vince, for taking the time to join us. We greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Vince.
So folks can find you here in the Hefty Naturals booth. Anywhere else that you'd like them to go look for you?
Well, they'll be here at the Hefty Naturals booth today,
Mm-hmm.
and then, meristem.com.
Perfect. Websites are easy to find. Okay. All right, folks. It has been the round robin of guests. We have had so many great things to talk about. And really, we've just scratched the surface because we kind of just get the time to explain a little bit of what you do. And I like the fact that it piques the interest of the farmer who's listening, who says, well, now I want to know more. That's the job here. You guys are here to educate just like anybody else.
Thank you.
Thank you. Much appreciated. All right, Justin, you've been hanging on tight back there at the studio, you and Addison. How you guys doing? What questions do you have after we've been running through all of this?
Hey, there's lots of information that came across today. So I guess I don't have one thing in particular besides what's the next thing you guys are going to learn about this afternoon.
Dean told me there's ice cream, so that's one thing I want to learn about. 'Cause this kid doesn't miss ice cream. Y'all know that.
I want
And-
ice cream.
Oh, Addison.
Me and Addison want some ice cream. We're back here trying to get all the programming stuff done and behind the scenes, and you guys are gonna go scarf down ice cream now.
Listen, I will bring ice cream back for you, but I am not guaranteeing the state of it. I mean, I can ask Vince over here what he can do to help me, encapsulate that and make it safer for you, but there's no
I don't think so.
That's all right. Me and Addison are gonna go to Dairy Queen here in about 20 seconds. So why don't we say we wrap the show up?
Sounds great. I'm off to lead a panel in the Hefty's Natural tent at 2:30.
And I'm over with Weather 2020 talking about the LRC. Come on
day.
out and say hey.
There you go. All right. Well, thanks for listening to Weather and Ag in Focus today. Everyone have a great rest of your afternoon. I got to check on the forecast coming up with the Jay Thomas Show in just a few moments. We'll see you there.